Hello everyone and welcome to welcome to one of Scotland's finest viewpoints, and you can see why behind me, and those of you who have watched the channel over the years will know that I'm on a hill called Chrulaiste, and more specifically I'm halfway up, well maybe almost at the top of a wee nubbin called Stob Chrulaiste, which sits round about 600 metres, but the views from here I think are some of the best in Scotland. But anyway, yeah, I'm feeling a bit guilty tonight. Don't feel great, to be honest with you, but hopefully this will mend it. It's been a busy old week at work. It was a last minute decision to come up. And if this come up, I'm not doing this. This isn't the video. Here, I'm going to be going over and doing a scramble on the buachaille first thing tomorrow, but I just wanted to come up for a wee evening jaunt. It's about 8:30 now, and just get a view over to the climb that I'm doing tomorrow. Just get a view of it and just yeah, just blow off some steam, because as I said, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think sometimes it's talked a lot about the hills being good for you and all that sort of stuff. I know that this trip will, yeah, I probably will feel better once I've been up the hill and heading back down tomorrow, but I feel guilty. I don't feel great at the moment. I think sometimes it's talked about how good the hills can make you feel, but sometimes they can make you feel it's not the hills that make you feel down, it's your own actions, and it's my actions today. I'll talk about it later on maybe, I'll see, but yeah, feeling a bit down in the dumps, but slowly starting to feel better. What a view though, what a place. Coming up, I met some of my old friends. I haven't seen them for years. There's the goats. I don't know if you can hear this, it's blowing a hoolie. There's goats on Chrulaiste, and I went past them earlier on. They gave me a good look as if to say, where have you been for the last few years? Because it's been a few years since I've been here. I think I camped here. It was the last trip I had before dreaded COVID, so I don't know how many years ago that was. It doesn't seem that long ago, but it must be 3 or 4. Anyway, I'm going to shut up now, and yeah, maybe take a few photographs and then head back down to the van, and I'll probably report back to you when I'm heading over to the buachaille. The forecast is good tomorrow, but it is to be windy, so what a place. Right, it is properly blowing up here, so I'm going to head back down to the refuge of the van and go get a cup of tea. Let's go. So I headed back down with those magnificent views of Glen right in front of me. And when I got back to the van, I really just chilled for the evening, and eventually put my head down to get some sleep before the venture the next day. Right, morning, and what a glorious morning it is. Every now and again there's a wee gusty wind coming along. I think it will be windy up there, but that's a good thing at the moment because it's keeping the midges at bay. But I'm going up there, and I'm going up a route called Buttress, which I haven't been up for a while, and I'll maybe explain why. It's early, it's 5:30, and the reason I'm leaving so early is so I can get back early, so I don't feel so guilty, and I will explain about that in a minute. But for now, I want to get my caffeine and a wee banana, and then I'll get going, so I'll report back when I'm on the trail. Right, coffee time. Right, I've been going for a wee while. There's a lovely cool breeze, and I've got the view of where I'm going now. It does look intimidating. Let me spin you around and show you. I'll show you this way first, because it's just beautiful. Look at that, the sun's just coming out over Chrulaiste, and I was last night, that wee nubbin, where's my finger? There, that's where I was there. I didn't go right to the top, but the best viewpoint's there. But beautiful, look at that, looking down over Rannochmoor. Anyway, I am going up here. In the centre of your picture is broad Buttress. I've done it, I don't know, 3 or 4 times before, but not recently. It does look quite imposing from here. There's nothing too difficult on it. but that's providing I take the correct route and don't go off off route. So yeah, let's crack on. I'll report back when I'm stopping to get my helmet on and on the start of the scramble. But yeah, what a morning. Lovely. Right, let's go. Oh, right, at the start of the scrambling part. I tell you what, the clouds are fairly scudding by higher up. I think it's going to be windy up here. And yeah, as I said, the route I'm going up is Broad Buttress. It's early. I suppose the reason I've left early is so I can get back to the family. That's why I'm feeling a bit guilty. You know, it's as always, we're all busy. It's been a busy old week at work, and it came to 6 o'clock on Friday evening and I was packed up and left, to be honest with you. So I felt a bit bad about that, but sometimes it can cause you stress as well, the mountains. And we talked a bit about it being an addiction as well in a recent video, and it certainly is. I know I'll feel better after having finished the day. I would have, I'll feel rejuvenated, and I'm spending time with the family. We've actually got a wedding to go to. It's another reason why I'm up and about early. I need to be back for that. But yeah, so it's not always feeling good for the mind, and you can sometimes get a bit stressed about things. And I suppose I'm a wee bit concerned about today. I'm by myself. I need to make sure I get the route choice right. Again, that adds to it, I suppose. But yeah, take to get the helmet on. Head up here. Look at these views behind me. I don't know if you can see those crispicular, I think that's how you pronounce it, crispicular rays. What a place, and that's Rannochmoor down there, where the rays are shining onto. So yeah, I need to concentrate a wee bit. So I've got the 360 camera. I might use that for a bit. But let's start the scrambling, and I'll report back later on. Right, let's get this sorted out. The scrambling isn't too difficult, but it's a wonderful, wonderful location. As are any of the scrambles on Stob dearg. It really is just out there with the views over Rannochmoor and back across the Glen. Absolutely superb. Anyway, as it's called Broad Buttress, there are a number of different routes and variations you can take. And soon I was on the approaching the wall, which has a wee crux in it, but nothing too difficult. Right, as I stopped, I've come a fair bit. You can see down from where I've came, way down there. It's a beautiful scrambling, nice and easy. And look at this behind me. Isn't that just wonderful? Looking over Rannochmoor, absolutely beautiful. And yeah, the weather, I've just checked the weather, and the weather's coming in a bit a bit sooner than forecast. Around about 10 o'clock there's some thunderstorms due. So it's 7:30 now, so I really need to try and get up here and back down before they hit. So I'm glad I got up early. Let's just see if I can get around and beat them. But what a place, look at that, wow! Looking at this footage heading up the scramble, you wouldn't think the heavy rain and thunderstorms were due, but they were, and I was a bit anxious about it. I didn't want to be, especially didn't want to be on the scramble if it was to rain. The rock is pretty good in the wet, but yeah, just didn't want to be in the wet while scrambling up, so yeah, it was something else for me to think about. But it was just a lovely, lovely scramble, and the weather was so far so good at this point. Oh, right, that's me at the top of, just about at the top of the scrambling. You can see I've got a wee bit more up here, but it starts to level off. And there's two options here, and I've always just gone up here, and that's the way I'm going to go today. But there is another option. Let me see if I can spin you around and show you. I don't know if you can make out, it's maybe too dark, but there's a ledge that goes across the top of Great Gully there. And it's just a walk really. Look at that, by the way. Isn't that wonderful? Anyway, yeah, there's a ledge that goes around there which looks a bit improbable from below, but from here it's not too bad. And that takes you around onto the top end of North Buttress route, which is a harder scramble, but the top of it is a bit easier. It's been quite gusty. It's not too windy here. I'm directly in the shade or the shelter of the mountain. I think I will go around there another time, but not today, because I think when I get around it might be quite breezy, and it does say it's very exposed, and it has been quite wet. So I'm just going to go the way that I know today, but that's another possibility. And I quite fancy coming back up and going across that ledge. But for now, let's see if we can get to the top. I don't know if you can see the clouds behind me scudding by. It's going to be super windy up there, so let's go before this weather hits. It's another thing actually I'm feeling a bit anxious about. Not only do I feel bad about the being away from the family, but now that the weather's changing, a wee bit anxious about that. So let's just get cracked on and get to the summit and back down before these thunderstorms arrive. Let's go. I might stop and get my poles out in a minute. Now that we're onto easier ground. Wow. What a place though, eh? Look at that. Right. Let's get my poles back out. Yeah, I think I can put my helmet away as well actually. I'm not going to put my flat cap back on because I don't think it'll stay on my head up there given the wind speeds. Looks windy. What a morning though. Yeehaw. Although it has been windy coming up, it's been really warm. Well, mild, it's just been pleasant. I've just got a base layer on and my gilet at the moment, so. Anyway, right, let's nip up to the top. What time are we at? No shower, we might be arriving about 10 o'clock, 8:15. So let's see if we can get up and down in an hour and 45. From here, the main difficulties or scrambling sections are largely finished with, and it's a little bit of a jaunt. There's a couple of wee steps you have to scramble up, but yeah, it's a wee jaunt up onto the summit ridge and the main tourist path. And before long, I was on that and approaching the summit of Stob dearg of buachaille Moor. Wee! Ah, here we are. Aha! Ooh, the summit of Stob dearg of buachaille Moor. I was here a few weeks ago actually when I did Curved Ridge. I'll put a link to that video at the end or in the description. And I did the whole of buachaille Moor that day, but this is wonderful. I'll bring you up actually, it's probably easier if I bring you up and show you what I'm looking at. This is what this mountain's all about, is the views. Right, let's do this before these thunderstorms come in. Right, hopefully you can see me. Ooh. Yeah, I'm hoping I'm in shot, but this view, it's what makes this mountain probably special and why it's the most photographed mountain. You hear that all the time, is because there's just a big expanse in front of it. And then it's Rannoch Moor, which is flat, and then it just hits this big rock of Stob dearg. But when you get up here, the views down over this sort of loch and splattered landscape are just wonderful. I tell you what, it's a nice breeze. Another thing that I was going to say is the reason that I came up Broad Buttress today was because the wind speeds, and they are quite ferocious when you're on that side. I'm just in the shelter again, but yeah, Broad Buttress is in the, I think it was southeasterly, so the mountain was sheltering me for the worst of the winds. There was an odd gust further down, but certainly further up, the wind wasn't so bad. And it's forecast, and it is blowing 35 to 45 mile an hour winds. And that's only, it's only forecast to get worse as the day gets on. So yeah, I'm actually going to stop and just have a quick bite to eat here, Scotch egg, and then I'm just going to head straight back down because it's got that humid, muggy feel about it. I think thunderstorms are on their way. So yeah, let's go have a bite to eat, and I'll report back shortly. Let's go down here and get a view actually. Although it was quite blowy when you were on this side of the hill, it was a warm wind, and yeah, I was quite grateful of it, keeping the beasties and the midges at bay. So I sat there with one of the best views in Scotland and just had my my brunch whilst enjoying the views. It was lovely. Right, that's me, have me Scotch egg. Let's go. Let's get off this hill. You can see the clouds gathering over that way. Let's move. It was still early, and I was starting to feel a little bit better because I knew I'd get home with plenty of time to spend time with the family, and I was really hoping that I was going to avoid some of those clouds. You can see them starting to bubble up on the horizon there. But anyway, down I went. Yeah, just keep my fingers crossed that the showers wouldn't beat me to the van. I don't know if you can make out behind me the showers. It's 10 o'clock and I'm mainly off the hill. I've still got a wee bit to go there, but the rain, I think it might thunder down in a minute, so I'm going to put the big camera away in the bag. But what a change in a matter of minutes, so I was quite right to feel a bit anxious about that. So put the camera away and I'll report back when I'm in the, hopefully it'll be dry by the time I get to the van. Right, let's go, get this away. Oh, right, that's me back. I got a bit soaked there. Didn't beat the I didn't beat the rain. I didn't hear any thunder and lightning or see any, so I'm glad to be back. So I was a bit anxious about that. It's still early, still morning time, and I don't know, back at 10, so I'll get home nice and early. So my fears about and my guilt about being being away won't feel so bad. I've got a wedding to go to with my other half and family later, so I'll be spending lots of time with them. So yeah, I do feel better, I feel good, as I knew I would. But sometimes it's not always one way, and it's, yeah, sometimes people don't like to talk about the things that are negative. But yeah, it's not a big thing, it's just small things. But anyway, there we go, that's that. What a day, what a nice trip. I also met Alan Rowan on the way up. He comes up here with a group on a yearly trip, a remembrance trip. So just a shout out to Alan, hope everything went well today. If you haven't read any of Alan Rowan's books, the Munro Moonwalker Chronicles and also his Munro Moonwalker books, please do yourself a favour, go and buy them. They are absolutely brilliant. They're my favourite books by far, apart from Jerry's, obviously. See, Jerry. Anyway, right, yeah, time to get home and spend time with the family. So thanks for watching, stay safe out there, and I'll see you in the next adventure. I'm going to have a cup of tea before I head and a egg sandwich. See you in the next one, guys.